Alright, so I am so freaking excited for today's video. I don't even know where to start. I have so many thoughts. Let's get into it. So as you all know, if you watched my last week's video, I started prednisone for my chronic illness, and I have insane amounts of energy compared to how I normally am. So in this video, I'm going to be pretty animated and I feel pretty good. It is an experiment. I only have 20 days, so I have no idea what's going to happen from here, but I am so grateful to be able to have a little bit more physical energy than I normally do. So let's get into today's topic. As I've talked about with this digital minimalism spring cleaning series, I'm going to start each video with a definition of minimalism. I really like this definition. I don't remember where I got this from, probably Matt D'Avella. It is the act of being intentional with what you bring into your life, and it doesn't have to be extreme. When we think of minimalism, we usually think of the most extreme, nothing on the walls, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't have to be that. It can just mean being very intentional with what you bring into your life. And so for digital minimalism, I am so much more intentional with what is on my phone, with my social media usage. And so today's video and next week's video are going to be on those two topics: how I organize my phone as a digital minimalist, and then how I interact with social media as a digital minimalist. So let's do this. Alright, so first I'm going to give a little overview of how I organized my phone, and then I'm actually going to screen share my phone. We're going to go through all of it so you can see exactly what it looks like right now. I have been working on this since last summer, and that's kind of when I started my digital minimalism journey versus just my physical minimalism journey. And it has been quite the journey. My phone really stresses me out. I have a really anxious relationship with notifications and messages and social media in general. And so I have just been on this cleansing journey, and I feel so much better after so long and getting where I am now. These are just some things that I did to get where I am. I'm just gonna list them out. So the first thing I did was I went through my apps and I got rid of apps that I hadn't used in the last even couple of months. My app usage kind of changes so much, and my app usage was very aspirational. So I'd have all these apps that oh, I want to check that out, or oh, I'm interested in this. But honestly, I did not need them on my phone because I was not using them. Baby was crying at the door. I wanted to be let in. So I went through all my apps and organized all of them, deleted any that I didn't use. Some of them I just deleted from my home screen. So for example, I'll talk about this, but my social media apps, the ones that I did still want to have on my phone, I just deleted them from my screen. So if I need to use them, I can still use them. But a huge tip that I found, just not seeing them didn't even give me the urge to click on them. That was incredibly helpful. But if I still want to look up something on Instagram or Facebook, I can still go to that app quick on my phone, get what I need, and then come right back out and not get sucked into scrolling. That was really important. But I got to the point of having less than 40 apps on my screens. So I'll, like I said, go through and show you all the apps that are on my screens that did get to stay. But that was crazy because I had so many apps and I have been paring down, and it feels so good to have only the essentials of what I actually use on my phone and nothing else cluttering that up. And then in general with my usage, something I found that was super helpful, and I learned this through Digital Minimalism, the book by Cal Newport, was that you want to just make your phone as uninteresting as possible. That was the gist of what he was saying. So if I make it as uninteresting as possible, if I don't have social media on the home screen, all of this stuff, I don't feel this urge to scroll through something. I don't feel the urge to refresh a page or refresh something. I don't feel the urge to go on my phone if I'm bored. I just want to make it as uninteresting as possible so that I am less likely to pick it up and more likely to engage in the real world, real life, real conversations, real connection, hobbies, other stuff that I can do. I don't want to be sucked into my phone. I want my phone to be a tool that I use that adds to my life but doesn't take away. So once I had gotten rid of all of the apps that I didn't want on my phone anymore, another thing was going through and changing my notification settings. So for certain social media, I just changed my notification settings to be completely off. I'll periodically check them if I want, but honestly, I'm not really engaging with a lot of social media anymore. Just different apps in general, ones that aren't time sensitive sensitive, changing that notification setting or turning it off completely and just like refreshing on your own, like emails or something, but just making sure that you're only getting notifications from apps that you want. Like I was getting notifications from mindfulness apps and stuff, and I want to use mindfulness apps when I want to use them, not when they're like telling me that I should use them. And that reminder just was not helpful right now for where I'm at. Yeah, I got rid of pretty much almost all of the notifications on my phone other than stuff that's like maybe a text or a call that's really important to me. I really wanted to get my space, like storage space, more organized. And so something I did was go through all my apps, see what was taking up space, delete apps or delete things. Like with the attachments and text, I had no idea that all of my attachments, like videos and stuff that I had sent to friends or whatnot, were taking up so much space and were just copies of ones that were already like stored in my Photos app. And so I went through and I deleted a ton of those, making sure I'd saved what I wanted to save from friends. So that was one thing I did. Now, something that I'm gonna go through in a minute is making the phone my own. So I have the phone background. Most of them are very minimalistic. I have a scrolling album, so on click it'll scroll through different backgrounds, and to me that was a huge part of my digital minimalism journey because I wanted to have different ones that like reminded me of things. So one of my backgrounds says less stuff makes me happy. Most of them are very minimalistic black backgrounds with just a few white words on them. And that was something that was really important to me, to have these like reminders throughout the day that change up all the time when I accidentally touch the back screen. I love aesthetics and I love decoration and I love interior design and stuff. So to have my digital space be decorated how I wanted it to be was really important for me. So I'm shying away from like photos or stuff like that. I really wanted to just have life reminders as this tool on the back of my phone. Now, getting into apps themselves, another huge declutter journey for me was YouTube, for example. So that is one of my go-to entertainment sources. I watch podcasts on YouTube. I follow a lot of creators that I'm inspired by, like minimalism. I learn a lot about minimalism through YouTube. And so a huge part of my journey was going through my YouTube app. And oh my God, I had in the watch later playlist, I had, I think like 500 videos. And so I took the time to go through that list, watch what I wanted to watch, get rid of what I didn't anymore. That took me so long, but I really wanted to like organize that space and my playlist space in general. So I started really being intentional with the playlist that I made on YouTube because this was like my main entertainment source. And so I didn't want it to be stressful. I wanted me to be able to easily find stuff. So saving certain videos under minimalism. And then if I want minimalist inspiration, I can go to those videos and find those. I have a whole playlist for podcasts that I want to listen to later. So that was really important for me to like organize within each app as well. So let's start recording the screen. Let's start with my backgrounds. I can just scroll through and have a bunch of different backgrounds. I just have a ton of different inspiration, some of my photography, different stuff like that. Some of them are really artsy. Some of them are just like this one, less stuff makes me happier, reminders for myself. This right here, this little widget helps me go directly to my A-Tracker app, which keeps track of my time, and I can just easily go into there faster, which is great. This is a home screen, very blank. It has camera, photos, notes, and Safari, which are some of my most used apps. This screen, each screen is very intentional for me. So this screen has the weather widget, so I can see what the weather is very quickly. My YouTube app, like I said, that entertainment app is really important for me. My calendar, my clock, and then for social, this is all I have. I have my mail and I have my messages. Everything else, I'd have to swipe down and search to find for social media. My second screen here just shows my batteries. That's super helpful to make sure that I have as much of battery as I need to complete whatever task I'm doing. I have my Strides app, which is my habit tracking app, and that just helps me keep track every day of what I need to do. Very cool app. If you've never checked it out, definitely highly recommend. I've had the premium version. Right now I just have the free version and it's so helpful. Like I said, there's my A-Tracker app. I have my Fitbit app, just mostly keeps track of my sleep. And then I also have a app that helps me keep track of my bowel movements because I have a history of constipation, and with my health issues, I really need to keep track of that. So that is an app I have on that screen. I have all my blue apps on the screen, which I love, but it's just the apps that I use the most. They happen to be blue. Now, this is the rest of my apps. Okay, so my audio app just has Shazam, which I use periodically when I hear a song that I really like, and that's how I find new music. Voice memos I use a lot for stuff that I really want to capture, like a memory or something like that. And then Spotify, I use that pretty infrequently, but it's good to have. Finance, I have my spending calculator, my credit union app. Then for fun, I have my counter app, which just can count random. It's just like literally a counter app. And so, for example, I'm keeping track of how many games my mom wins of a certain game and how many games I win of that game. So it's just like for fun. Then I have Hulu, which I don't really watch that often, and then I have Netflix, which is my second most used entertainment app. For health, I have Insight Timer, which is mindfulness stuff, and my own meditations on Insight Timer, so go check them out. And then I have my doctor's platform. I have nature stuff, so Merlin Bird ID is super helpful if there's like a bird that you want to identify. And then All Trails is when I'm feeling up to going for walks, I keep track of that, but I don't use them that often, but when I want them now, and so I keep them on the screen. My FaceTime and phone app there. This reading app is aspirational again. It's a little out of control. These are just all the apps I've used for reading, and my brain fog is so bad that I'm really not able to read right now, but I just keep them there. It's a hope someday I'll get back to it. And the rest of my apps are just the Map app, Settings, App Store, Google Translate, and my Passwords app. And that is all. That's like all that's on my phone, which is crazy. These are some of the other apps that I guess I have, but they're not on my home screens. They're just like if I need them. And so yeah, super minimalistic. So that concludes my phone tour. I am still going through and organizing my photos, so that is a whole journey. That will be some video. That is kind of the area that I still need to work a lot on, but I'm really proud of myself. I've come so far. Like, I don't have any screenshots of where I was before, but honestly my usage is so much better. It really just serves as this tool for connection, a tool for keeping track of stuff in my life, for communication, that kind of stuff. It has been a journey. I'm really proud of where I am now though. If you have any tips for digital minimalism with your phone, please let me know. Next week, I really want to get into more of Cal Newport's book, Digital Minimalism, and all of his kind of thoughts on social media, on phone usage in general. That has really changed my mind about communication in general. I have like completely changed how I use my phone, how I use social media. I don't grab my phone anymore when I'm bored. I just don't, because of his book, literally. So I can't wait to talk about that next week. But this was such a fun video to share because I'm just like so excited about all the progress I've made, and I would love to hear how all of you interact with your phone, with technology, with devices. At some point I want to do one on my computer as well, because I've totally organized that space as well to be minimalistic and very easily accessible and usable. So yeah. So thanks for listening, thanks for watching. I can't wait to do a health update soon too, because the results on this prednisone have been insane, and I don't know what's gonna happen from here because this was just a 20-day experiment and I'm almost done. So going forward, I might not have any energy anymore, but I will keep you all updated. So thanks for being here on the journey. I hope some of this was useful, gave you some thoughts, ideas of how to decrease your digital footprint. Let me know what other topics you might want to see on digital minimalism, and I will talk to you all soon, my friends.